Professor Monty. Let's talk about how we define domain and range graphically. All right. So remember, the domain is the set of all x values. So the x values go left to right. When we write the domain down, we always go from left to right, smallest to largest. Similarly, the range is all the y values. So to go smallest to largest, when we talk about that, we go bottom to top. So let's look at 3 different examples. All right, my first example, they just give us 4 points. They say this function is just defined by these 4 points. And we don't play dot to dot. We don't connect the dots. We just look at the 4 points. That's the entire function. So since the domain is the x values, we just list the x values. So we've got -4, -1, +1, and 5. It's just those 4 individual points. We just put them in the curly braces. And then the range is the y values. Let's go from bottom to top and list all the y values. So we have, let's -3, 1, 3, and 4. Again, it's just those 4 individual values. If one of the values in the range was listed twice, we would not list it twice in here. We'd only list it once. So if 2 of these dots were at the same height, we would only list that y value once. X values cannot have the same values for 2 different points. Then it wouldn't be a function by the definition of a function. Okay, the next one, here's a picture. So let's talk about domain and range this time. Now the dots are all connected. I have a line. Well, remember, domain goes left to right, so I'm looking domain this way. And notice this line goes forever to the left. So the domain is going to go -infinity forever to the left, and it goes forever to the right also, so to +infinity. And that's my domain. So we look at the domain left to right, smallest to largest. The range, the y value, so I'm thinking bottom to top. Well, this time, if I look at the range, we're looking this way for the range. And it goes down forever, -infinity, and it goes up forever. So on this one, in this line, domain -infinity to infinity. Range is also -infinity to infinity, but the domain was the x's, the range was the y's. All right, this one a little bit different. We've got a graph. Again, domain, it's going to the left forever and the right forever. So it keeps getting wider and wider each direction. So again, the domain this way, we'll just put a D, -infinity to infinity. But notice the graph doesn't go down forever. So if we look at the range, the y values, it kind of stops right here and it goes up forever. That's my range. Well, again, remember, list smallest to largest. The smallest y value is 1. It includes the value 1, so we use a bracket right there. And then it goes up forever, so again to infinity. And that's some examples of how you do domain and range. Work with these, practice these, a lot of different variations you'll see, because you can have an infinite number of graphs. But work with it, and I think it'll come to you pretty quickly.